Lesson 2. Sine, cosine, and tangent. In the previous lesson, you learned how to use the angle theta to help you identify the opposite side, adjacent side, and hypotenuse of a right triangle. These three sides of a triangle are so frequently used in trigonometry that each is often identified using only its capitalized initial. O for opposite, A for adjacent, and H for hypotenuse. Each of these letters can be used as a variable that equals the length of one side of a triangle. For example, in this 3, 4, 5 triangle, O equals 3, A equals 4, and H equals 5. Be especially careful not to confuse the letter O for a 0. These three variables are most often used for the trigonometric ratios, or trig ratios for short. The three most commonly used trig ratios are called the sine, the cosine, and the tangent. The sine of an angle equals O over H, which is the length of the opposite side of that triangle divided by the length of the hypotenuse. For example, in this triangle, the length of the opposite side is 3, and the length of the hypotenuse is 5. So the sine of theta equals 3/5. The cosine of an angle equals A over H, which is the length of the adjacent side of that triangle over the length of the hypotenuse. In this triangle, the length of the adjacent side is 4, and the length of the hypotenuse is 5. So the cosine of theta equals 4/5. And the tangent of an angle equals O over A, which is the length of the opposite side over the length of the adjacent side. In this triangle, the length of the opposite side is 3, and the length of the adjacent side is 4, so the tangent of theta equals 3/4. As another example, in this triangle, the length of the opposite side is 5, the length of the adjacent side is 12, and the hypotenuse is 13. So for this value of theta, sine of theta equals 5/13, cosine of theta equals 12/13, and tangent of theta equals 5/12. These three trig ratios are so important that math teachers have created a mnemonic for remembering them. The made-up word SOHCAHTOA. The three letters SOH are short for sine of theta equals O over H. CAH stands for cosine of theta equals A over H. Finally, TOA is short for tangent of theta equals O over A. Note that these three trig ratios include the variable theta. Sine, cosine, and tangent are all functions, which means that each of them always includes an input variable. In this module, we will use theta exclusively as the input variable for the trig functions.